What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Mock Draft Guy YouTube channel. And in today's video, we are rolling right along with our 7-round team mock drafts for the 2024 NFL Draft. And we've landed on the Detroit Lions. I've been doing this series for 3 years now, so not really a totally significant amount of time, but long enough to the fact where this is easily the latest I've ever done a Detroit Lions mock draft here. Usually, unfortunately, it's at the beginning of the series. Now it's towards the end. We are down to the final 4 teams in this series for the 2024 draft, and I'm happy to get to the Lions this late. This is a team that, you could pretty much say almost everyone, maybe outside of NFC North fans, were kind of sort of rooting for this year to be that team that possibly could go to the Super Bowl. They don't seem very far away. They do have some holes on the defensive side. Offensively, they could use a couple things, little offensive line help, a little bit more depth, maybe another wide receiver. On the defensive side, though, we're going to look to add to the defensive line. We're going to look to add to the secondary. Even though they made some really, really low-key nice moves in free agency up until this point, I think we're going to need to add some serious talent on the defensive side. So we're going to roll right into this 7-round mock. So I didn't really discuss trading back or anything like that, even though if we take a look quickly at the picks that the Lions do possess, I'm not a fan of this massive drop from 73 to 164. If you guys are fans of this series or have watched these videos before, you know that I do not like large gaps in the draft itself. So that's almost 100 picks in between. We might look to fill that, but I'm just not really feeling any of these trade offers here. This is super cool, but I'm not really looking to give up any draft capital regardless of how late it is. This one here would be cool, but I'm thinking that the 49ers are going to be trading up for someone that we want here. So I'm going to hold off on that as well. And the Cowboys, no way. That's way too far to drop off here. But I'm going to be looking maybe to close this gap here. If not, it's not a big deal. We have this all planned out for the most part. Hopefully things go our way. But a lot of amazing players on the board here at 29. Didn't expect Byron Murphy to get here. That's something I could take into consideration. But with Aleem McNeil adding DJ Reader as well, I know DJ Reader is not the long-term solution. I believe he signed a 2-year deal in free agency. Maybe next year we'll look to get something like that, taken care of. But for the most part, I'm going to pass. I don't know how some Detroit Lions fans are going to feel about that. I'm looking at the defensive line. I'm looking at Darius Robinson, though. This is the player that just seems like a Detroit Lion, in my opinion here. Completely alignment versatile. This is someone that played everywhere for Mizzou. Between the 2-eye and wide 9, he is a fantastic player, good explosiveness, incredible just intangibles and measurables as well. 6'5", 291 pounds, so he has the size to play on the interior. He's got the speed, quickness, and explosiveness to play on the outside across from Aiden Hutchinson. That's really what we're looking for here in the first round. I'm looking for a player that could be that edge rusher on the opposite side. I know that they signed Marcus Davenport. I like that deal a lot, actually, as a rotational defensive end, but need a longer term solution there. And someone with the alignment versatility of Darius Robinson here at number 29, I don't think I could pass it up. So we're going to take him here with our first pick at number 29. All right, so we're sitting here at the back end of the second round here at number 61, and some really good players on the board. I wish I would have known that Braden Fisk would have fallen this far. To be honest with you, not out of the realm of possibility to take him here. Kalen Carson, Cedric Van Pran Granger, another player that I'm really looking at here. But there's a player on the board that I think just screams Detroit Lion here at number 61. We're going to go to the guard position here. We're going to look at Christian Mahogany. I love Dominic Pooney as well. Love Mason McCormick. These are 3 guys in this area, or maybe even 7. Maybe Pooney and McCormick would be in play more at 73, but Mahogany is someone that I think did nothing but boost his draft stock during the NFL Combine. 6'3", 314 pounds, just an incredible athlete for the position as well. Overall, he was the second best guard at the Combine, so I know that's not the end-all, be-all. His tape is really good as well. He's a good pass blocker. He's athletic enough in the run game as well, so this is a player that I think could be a long-term solution for guard. They did lose Jonah Jackson. They signed Kevin Zeitler, but again, not a long-term solution. That's a 14-year vet. You're going to need someone that can step in as soon as Zeitler's out of Detroit, you need someone. They're kind of following. I feel like Detroit and Philadelphia have the two best plans for the offensive line. It's, you have your starting five, and then you just continue to add players. So in case one player retires or moves on, you just have next man up mentality, and that's a good player. And that's exactly what Mahogany is. So maybe you won't get a ton of playing time. I know it's kind of crazy taking a player at 61 that might not get a lot of playing time his first year, but look at Cam Jurgens a couple years ago for the Philadelphia Eagles. He was a second-round pick, same deal here. And now he's starting, and he's a very, very good player as well. Don't know what Grammarly's doing here. That was weird. But this is who I'm looking for here. I think offensive line, adding to the offensive line is something that needs to be addressed early. I think this is early enough for the Detroit Lions. Frank Ragnow, amazing center, got injured quite often. Graham Glasnow, I'm glad they brought back on. I believe it was a 3-year deal. Adding Zeitler is a nice option for this year. And then, I think that's the plan all along. You're adding a starting caliber guard, and then you're drafting someone that you're grooming to be that starting caliber guard after that 1-year contract is over. So I'm going to take Mahogany here at pick number 61. All right, so this is a deal that we were absolutely looking for here with pick number 73. We moved back one spot with the Houston Texans, and we were able to pick up I believe that's a late 4th-round pick or a super early 5th-round pick, probably a late 4th-round pick at 127. So like I said, you know me, I love to close those gaps. So we have another pick to play around with, which is really, really nice. At number 74, I'm going to address the secondary here. I think that they added a couple really nice players. Adding Carlton Davis was really, really nice. They brought back a couple people in free agency as well. I don't think that that's enough to keep them from taking a corner within the first top 100, I'd say. And there's a player that's on the board here that I'm very interested in Detroit here. So Chris Abrams-Drain, DJ James, Renardo Green, these guys here, I don't really think will be on the board at 74. So I try and keep it as hyper realistic as I possibly can with these mock drafts here. So I'm looking at Kyrie Jackson. This screams a Detroit Lions cornerback to me. He's big, able to play on the boundary, obviously has good speed, 4.5 speed for 6'4", 194 pounds. Biggest thing for me with Kyrie Jackson is the tackling. I feel like the Detroit Lions really like those corners that can get down there and tackle, and he's a very good tackler for the position. So that's another thing that bumps him up a little bit higher for me than maybe some other players, but you can't argue with the size. Young player, good speed, tackling. He's physical. He could play press man as well. So this is exactly what the Detroit Lions are looking for here. And at 74, I think we get an absolute steal in Kyrie Jackson. So now with this extra pick here at 127, I'm going to address a weapon here. I think there's a lot of great weapons on the board right here. Malik Washington entices me so much, but just seeing Amon-Ra St. Brown really being that primary slot guy. He's all over the offensive alignment, to be quite honest with you, but he just does so much damage in the slot. I don't think I'd be willing to get a 5'8" slot archetype wide receiver. Javon Baker is another fantastic option. I really like what Brendan Rice can bring to the table for the Detroit Lions. This is a physical boundary wide receiver that just gives 210% of effort on every single play. That's really kind of his one-trick pony deal for me, is that I feel like he's just ultra aggressive and he doesn't try and use any finesse whatsoever. It's just all physical. So with pro level coaching, I feel like that could be, kind of relaxed a little bit, and he could rely more on his physical gifts and all that kind of stuff. Really what I'm trying to say. He's a good route runner. He in breaks on slants very, very nicely. Actually has good sink in his hips as well. So something that I'm looking for, but he can win physically down the field. His speed's not going to blow you away 4 or 5 on the boundary, but like I just said, he's gonna win the separation battle with physicality at the line of scrimmage. So this is something that I think, even though they re-signed Donovan Peoples-Jones, I think adding another wide receiver would be key, because I'm not totally in love with Donovan Peoples-Jones, Khalif Raymond, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. I feel like you need to add another piece to the puzzle there. Of course, you have Sam Laporta, so that helps with things as well, but just continue to add weapons to this offense, because they're an incredible offense with what they are. Great offensive line, great run game, good quarterback, good weapons. Just keep adding to it. So Brendan Rice is going to be our pick with our extra pick at 127. All right, sitting here at 164 here, there was a player that was on the board in my original simulation that I really wanted to take here, but he is gone. That is Christian Boyd. I know that the Detroit Lions have shown quite a bit of interest in him, actually. Let's see where he went, see how far ago he went. All right, so it looks like, all right, 147. So we really didn't have much of a chance there, but a player that I know that the Detroit Lions have a top 30 visit scheduled with. So very interesting there. There's another player that they have a top 30 visit scheduled with. We will get to him hopefully soonish, but I was scrolling through the players. I would love to go defensive line here at 164. I'm not totally in love with the players that are available, to be quite honest with you. Especially after adding Darius Robinson with his alignment versatility. I love Gabe Hall, but I've drafted him so many different times in so many different mock drafts. I feel like it gets so old after a while. Juwan Briggs is enticing, so is Keith Randolph Jr., but I'm going to hold off on that. Maybe there's someone in round 6, round 7 that we're looking at, but I keep looking at guard, and if Zach Zinter is on the board at 164, you kind of have to take him. I know the Detroit Lions really, really prioritize their offensive line. This is someone that could very well be the heir to the Frank Ragnow throne, and I can't pass it up at this point. He's fallen far enough, in my opinion, and at some point, you just got to take the best player on the board at a position of need. And I know we took Christian Mahogany in round 2 here, but Zach Zinter, coming off of a pretty devastating leg break, was also a fantastic offensive lineman before that happened. So we've seen that happen in drafts prior. Look at last year. Andrew Voorhees was someone that was probably going to be a second-round pick. I think, but did he tear his ACL or break his leg at the combine? Something like that. Actually competed in the bench press and put up like 36 bench press reps of 225 with that. I think it was a torn ACL, but he still wound up going in, I want to say either round 6 or round 7 to the Baltimore Ravens. So, stuff like that could really kill your draft stock for the most part. But with a embarrassment of riches on the offensive line already, taking a chance on Zach Zinter at pick 164, I can't really not justify doing that. So that's exactly what we're going to do. All right, same deal, like I said, with Zach Zinter at 164. Juwan Briggs is still on the board at 201, so we're going to pull the trigger and we're going to take him here. 6'2", 297, actually played nose tackle quite a bit for the Cincinnati Bearcats last season, and I believe that they had the 9th best rushing defense in the entire FBS, so that is certainly accredited to him. Part of it, of course, is accredited to him, but the Lions actually do a fairly decent job against the run. I want to say, don't quote me, I believe they were in the top half of the NFL in run defense this past year. I could be remembering that totally wrong. So if I am, please correct me in the comment section below. But we're going to pull the trigger here because looking at the depth behind Aleem McNeil, DJ Reader, guys like that, I think Briggs would make a lot of sense as a rotational player, especially behind DJ Reader. If Reader is going to take on more of that nose tackle role, then I think you're going to have someone who has the experience behind him as well. So I know that they have a couple decent players behind there, one being Roderick Martin, someone that I was super high on last year as well. But we're going to continue to add to the defensive line. I'm going to take Juwan Briggs here at 201. All right, at 205 here, I'm going to pull the trigger on quite possibly my favorite player in the entire draft class in 2024. If you don't know about his story, Quantez Stiggers has probably the greatest story I've ever heard. From tragedy to triumph, potentially, never playing a down of collegiate football, would only be the 4th player in the modern era of football to be drafted without any prior collegiate experience. So it's an incredible story. Not only that, his personal life is an incredible story. I urge you guys to look it up and read about it. You would instantly become a fan of Quantez Stiggers if you knew. But not only that, he's actually this isn't a charity case here. He's a fantastic football player in his own right. Last year being a rookie in the CFL, won the Rookie of the Year award, 5 interceptions. He's 5'11", 204. He runs 4.45 as well. He's got an incredible athletic ability, good ball skills. He's a really, really good player. And if a team is willing to take a chance on him as someone that could be a corner, he's someone that I feel like you could really align all over the secondary. I could see him playing safety as well, maybe even in the slot. I know Brian Branch dominates the slot for the Detroit Lions, but someone that you could just put all over the defense. Not only is it a great story, I think he's proven himself. And honestly, if you have picks this late, if you're looking for someone to develop into a stud, I think Quantez Stiggers is your guy. So that's who we're taking at pick number 205. They also have a top 30 visit scheduled with Stiggers as well. So that's something to look for. And with our last pick here at 249, I'm going to pull the trigger on a speedy slot option out of Oregon State. Anthony Gold is someone who burned up the combine. I don't remember off the top of my head what he ran. I believe it was 4.36 or 4.34, something very, very fast. I think he had the second best time or third best time of any wide receiver. Of course, Xavier Worthy, 4.21, unbelievable time. Uh, Absolutely crazy that people could actually run that fast. But Anthony Gold in his own right was fantastic. Just, a really, really good deep threat, a catch and run type of guy, maybe as a fourth or fifth wide receiver at this point in the draft. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Just more speed, maybe in the return game as well. So Anthony Gold is my pick with the final pick of the Detroit Lions mock draft. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. There's your full 7 round 2024 Detroit Lions mock draft. Quickly to recap it, at number 29, we took alignment versatile extraordinaire Darius Robinson. At 61, we took Christian Mahogany. We traded down from 73 to 74. We got Kyrie Jackson at 74. With that extra pick that we picked up, we took Brendan Rice. At 164, we took Zach Zinter. 201, we took Jawan Briggs. 205, we took Quantez Stiggers. And 249, we took Anthony Gold. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. I feel like this is one of my better drafts that I've done. And you certainly let me know if you like it or dislike it. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope I see you in the next one.